Now, by the summer of 63, the Civil War had drug on for 3 years, and the North hadn't been doing so well at that time. Robert E. Lee felt that by moving north into the Union's home turf, he could deliver a crushing blow and win the war. So he began campaigns into Pennsylvania, with Union General George Meade hot on his tail. Now, both sides would eventually meet up in the small town of Gettysburg. Now, it's easiest to understand the battle if you divide it into 4 smaller engagements. On the first day, the enemies would fight along Chambersburg Pike to the north and west of Gettysburg. On day 2, the armies would fight south around Little and Big Round Top and in the north around Culp's Hill and Cemetery Hill. Finally, on the third day, the South would bring the fight to the Union when Pickett's men would charge the Union line at Cemetery Ridge. Now, the battle began early on July 1st with fighting along Chambersburg Pike, and forces under Henry Heath moved to Gettysburg to find supplies. They were confronted by Union cavalry under John Buford. As the fight raged, a continuous supply of reinforcements began to flow into the battle, and Buford was able to buy the Union time as General John Reynolds arrived. Reynolds was, of course, promptly killed. In the afternoon, the Union line would expand to the north as Ewell and Early's Confederate forces arrived from the north, and the Union line and Union forces would eventually be forced to retreat to a position south of Gettysburg. Remember, the north occupies Culp's Hill, Cemetery Hill, and Cemetery Ridge in a large fishhook, while the south occupies Seminary Ridge just to the west. So it's kind of confusing. There's Cemetery Ridge and Seminary Ridge. Seminary Ridge was named after a Lutheran seminary. Throughout the night, large forces of troops poured in, and the next morning Lee ordered Lieutenant James Longstreet to try to flank the Union's left around a hill named Big Round Top. Now, once Longstreet attacked, Lee would then have Ewell's forces attack from Culp's Hill to the north. So in the south, Hood's division under Longstreet raced towards Little Round Top. The Union had to quickly scramble to get regiments on top of the hill and protect the Union's left flank. Now, to the west, amongst the boulders of Devil's Den, the Confederates won a hard-fought battle. Further to the west, the wheat field and the peach orchard, hours of intense back-and-forth fighting occurred between both sides. And north of the peach orchard, Humphreys' Union division began to break, and the Confederates began to drive a wedge into the Union center on Cemetery Ridge. Union General Winfield Scott Hancock sent in regiments of Minnesotans who pretty much sacrificed themselves to buy the Union time to patch that hole. On the Union right flank, to the north, around Culp's Hill, Ewell moved Johnson and Early's division in to attack Cemetery and Culp's Hill. Again, Hancock saved the day, plugging in holes in the Union line and pushing the South back. Now, by the end of the day, the Confederates had succeeded in pushing the Union back, but the North still held a cohesive line along Cemetery Ridge. Now, on the third day of the battle, that is the 3rd of July, the fighting began early, with the Union spending the morning pushing Johnson's Confederate division away from Culp's Hill before noon. And at the culmination of the battle, Lee ordered Longstreet to attack from the southwest. So Longstreet sent in his 2 freshest divisions, which were under Pickett and Pettigrew. So just after noon, Confederate artillery began to bombard Cemetery Ridge from Seminary Ridge, and Union artillery fired for some time before going quiet. Now at 2:30, in a pretty brilliant ruse, Meade ordered the Union guns to cease fire. This drew the Confederate infantry into a charge against Cemetery Ridge, and with a 1-mile walk across open ground and Union guns again firing from Little Round Top and Cemetery Hill, the Confederates were in for a hard time. And while these Confederate troops were able to make it to the Union line, they were decimated and forced to surrender. The Union lost 23,000 soldiers, while the rebels lost as many as 28,000. It was the deadliest battle of the Civil War and one of the deadliest battles in U.S. history. On July the 4th, as heavy rain began to fall, both sides gathered up their wounded and buried their dead, and Lee withdrew from the field. And despite pleas from Lincoln, Meade remained cautious and didn't pursue Lee's weakened army. Gettysburg and Vicksburg, which Grant won the same day, were major setbacks in the Southern cause and changed the course of the Civil War. So the game is Gettysburg, and it was developed in 1958 by Charles S. Roberts and published by the Avalon Hill Game Company. Now, it's come out in a number of very differing iterations over the years. There was some, like I think in 60 and 61, and the version we'll be using today is 64. Interestingly, I think the 60 or 61 one used a hex grid instead of a square grid, but then Roberts made the decision to go back. Interesting game in that, along with U-Boat, Tactics 2, Verdict, and Dispatcher, it was one of the original set of Avalon Hill's adult games. And it's also probably one of the earliest typical war games, particularly historical ones. I think it has a lot of issues. I think the rules are a little sparse, and it kind of surprises me because compared to something like, say, Tactics 2 that came out approximately the same time, it feels like there's a lot of mistakes in what Roberts was trying to do with this. But I'm going to go through and play, and I am going to play rules as written for the most part, just so you guys get a real feeling for the game. I think a lot of people have house ruled the hell out of this game just to overcome all the shortcomings. But we're not going to do that today. I want you guys to get a good feel of what the game actually is like. Now, the map shows where the battle was fought, and it covers about 35 square miles. It has roads, woods, ridges and hills, and streams. And guess what? None of these are needed for the game. You pretty much ignore everything except for the ridges and the hills, which do affect combat somewhat, but everything else like roads and stuff is totally meaningless. This could have been a blank map and pretty much done the same thing. There are counters, and it kind of harkens back to the old Kriegspiel game days by giving you these kind of long rectangular counters instead of the square ones that came around later. And they have a facing. This game relies quite a bit on facing. They also have a movement factor, or I'll say a combat factor first. It's on the left, and then a movement factor in hexes on the right. And so the combat factor is obviously the strength. There are the NATO symbols on it, so the little X is infantry, the slash is cavalry, and the dot is artillery. And the combat factor is the basic fighting strength when both attacking and defending, and the movement's the maximum number of squares a unit can be moved in one turn. There's no difference between moving horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. It's an I go, you go kind of game. The Union player starts. They move all of their units on the board that they choose to. They then check for reinforcements on the time record card, bring the reinforcements in, resolve any battles that they wish. The Confederate player then moves all their units, brings in reinforcements, and then fights their battles. And then you start a new round on the time record chart, and rounds are 1 hour real time. Now, obviously, movement of units is optional, and you're allowed to change the facing of the units at any time in any direction you wish without any sort of penalty. You can also change the facing of a unit without moving it from the square that it's in. Now, except for one case, you can't have more than one unit on a square. And you can have an artillery unit stacked with an infantry or cavalry. However, you can't have two infantries, two cavalries, or two artilleries together in the same square. And if the artillery unit is stacked with another unit, you put it actually behind on the square, and it faces the same direction as the infantry or cavalry unit. Now, units can pass through squares containing other friendly units, but they can't end their turn on that occupied space, nor can they pass through an enemy unit. Now, retreating units can move through friendly squares also, but again, they can't end their movement on a friendly square, and if they do so, they're eliminated. And, of course, you can also stack units during their initial placement as reinforcements. Both players receive reinforcements at specific intervals, and the order of appearance card shows the earliest hour that those reinforcements can be brought in. And it shows on what road those units can be brought in on. However, if the road's blocked by an enemy, then you have to come in either at a later time or on the next unblocked road over. While you can stack reinforcements when they enter the game, they can't remain that way. You have to move them in their first turn of arrival. There's also headquarters in the unit, and per the game, headquarters units have no bearing on play and are included only for historical purposes. They are not allowed to attack, and since they have no zone of control, they cannot be used as defense-delaying units. So there you have it. Headquarters have absolutely no purpose in this game. Again, I've seen people house rule this quite a bit to improve it, but I don't know why Roberts did this. He did this with Tactics 2 and some of the other early games. He'd give you all these headquarters units that did absolutely nothing. It's unclear whether headquarters units are part of the victory conditions of the game. The victory conditions are you have to eliminate the opposing side. So when I've played it, I've always had them just try to eliminate the headquarters units. However, then you end up with the problem that headquarters units can move really fast around the board. So you could basically end up with a game where you were just chasing headquarters units all over. So if that starts to happen where it looks like it's just that you're just chasing units, I just say that it's a stalemate or that the side that's doing the chasing is going to win the game. Actually, I don't really care in this game. I have very little love for this game. I think it's even though you could say it's a product of its times, I think even at the time it was probably still had some serious problems. Anyway, back to how to have combat. Player automatically causes combat. I'm reading this off the rules. When by moving, he places an enemy unit in his zone of control. Now, zones of control are essentially the three squares that are to the front of the unit. So that would be the front left square diagonal to the unit, the front square directly in front of the unit, and it would be the square that's front and right of the unit diagonally. And so if you get a enemy unit in there, you have to attack. And it uses a standard old wargaming convention of determine your odds, round down in favor of the defender, come up with an odds, check your CRT, roll a d6, and then check to see what happens. And this thing is bloody as hell, so attackers and defenders are often lost in this game. There's also an attacker back 2, a defender back 2, and an exchange. And exchanges mean that it means all the defending units are lost, and then the attacker has to take the same or more units equal to the number of defending units that are gone. Now, if a unit's facing on the square is diagonal, the zones of control are, again, the 3 squares to the front. They're not necessarily diagonal, and here's an illustration of that. Now, moving units do have to stop when they enter an enemy zone of control, and they're not allowed to move through those enemy-controlled hexes. Also, you resolve all battles one at a time after moving the units, so you can't make a lot of little attacks with units. You have to combine them all together to make an attack or a defense. And so with multiple unit battles, no unit can be attacked more than 1 time per turn, and no unit can attack more than 1 time per turn. However, you can do the old soaking off technique, where you attack at poor odds so that another unit can fight at higher odds. When an attacker has an infantry or cavalry unit in front of an artillery unit in the same square, then the combat factor of the artillery unit can be applied in attack against the units in an adjacent square. And when the artillery unit is protected in this manner, then any adverse combat results, such as attacker eliminated, attacker back 2, or exchange, are ignored, and they don't affect the artillery unit, provided that there's no enemy artillery units involved in the battle. Otherwise, adverse results do affect the protected artillery unit. In the same vein, the defender can do the same thing. So if the defender has a cavalry or infantry unit in front of an artillery unit in the same square, then any adverse effects on the defender do not count to that artillery unit. So you can even have, say, a defender eliminated, and that artillery unit will still be sticking around, and it'll have to be attacked on its own. If you attack a unit and the defending unit is either forced from the squares where they were or eliminated, the attacker can move into that square. Now, there's a number of die roll modifiers that can be added to attacks. And since this is a game that relies a lot on maneuvering, most of these are associated with that. You can have a partial inflaud, which is where the attacker's factor is doubled. And here it is. You're kind of to the front and side diagonally. You can have a full inflaud, and these are the best to get because they triple the attack factor, and this is where you're attacking from the side. You can have a rear inflaud, which also triples the attack factor, and this is from the rear diagonal. And finally, you can have a rear assault, and the rear assault doubles the attack factor. I'm not sure why it only doubles and doesn't triple, but that's how the game is written. You can also use hills to your advantage. And you can have a frontal valley assault, and the attacker's factor doubles when they're attacking downhill. There's entrenchments, but I never play with the entrenchment rules too much. I'm going to ignore those in the game because I think they don't really come into play too awfully much. If you attack up a hill, then the defender's factor doubles. So if you're attacking low ground to high ground, the defense gets doubled. If you're attacking from one hill square to another hill square, the defender's factor is also doubled. Why this is, I'm not right sure. Okay, that is pretty much it. There's not a lot else out there. I think you're going to have to watch some gameplay here to kind of get a feel for this. And like I say, not one of my favorite games, but it does have some historical importance, so let's get to it. Now, I've got the game set up here, and if you want to play along on Vassal, go ahead and load it up. I can wait.
Let's all go to the lobby.
So we are ready to go. Now it's 6 o'clock. Let me pull the chart up here. This is the see here. Okay, at the start. It would be 6 a.m. on July 1st. And Heath's infantry unit is going to be moving down the road here. And then these two Union units are here. There's 2 cavalry units, and they're going to try to hold Heath back while these reinforcements come into place. And this is Reynolds' group. So we can start by going, let's just move our Union folks here. 1, 2. And then this guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are going to be on McPherson Ridge, just like the real battle. So I think things are going to play out pretty much as normal. This game will usually not play out anything like the real battle, but that's okay. Now, roads don't matter, so we need to follow the shortest line between two places, and we're just going to go 1, 2, up, pull these all apart. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, and Reynolds. It doesn't really matter with those headquarter units. I think that's probably one of the weaknesses of this game, although that's the case also with like Tactics 2. It has headquarters that you never use. So, okay. Heath, he could take this guy on. Maybe now's the time. We know there's going to be some reinforcements coming down Chambersburg Pike here in a little bit, but for now, let's do it. Okay, so there's a 2, and we'll just rotate him just a little bit. Now, this doubles, and the attacking from the flank like this doubles Heath, so he's at 8. And then this guy here, Devon, is doubled, so he's at 2 because he's fighting on a slope. So 8 to 2 is 4 to 1 odds. And we'll check our CRT. This is a deadly table. Pretty much most of the battles seem to end in a unit being eliminated. Okay, we're going to roll at 4 to 1 odds with a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Defender back 2. Okay. 2. And I think I will move into that. Our goal is to push back as hard as we can. Now, that is the end of turn 1. So we can go to our chart here for our terrain, and we go to 7 a.m. and we get units in. So on Taneytown Road, these guys will come in. And Emmitsburg Road. Okay. That's 7, Taneytown. There's Taneytown. Come on. And then Barlow is coming here on another game. Get over there. Got too many game videos I'm working on right now. I missed last week, and again, I apologize for that. Then that's the Union units coming in. Okay, Confederate units. Chambersburg Pike. We'll move these guys up here. And let's rotate them clockwise. I never get these rotations right. Okay. That is it. And we are going to attack this way. Rotate counterclockwise. And then this guy's going to attack clockwise. Okay. So this guy's tripled. He acts as 3. This guy is fighting at 2, so here's 5. And then this guy is doubled because we're fighting on a slope, and this is slope to slope, this is slope to slope. They don't really take into effect which is the best, so that's a little bit tricky. Let's see, I said this was 3. This was 5. This makes 2, and that's 5. And then he is doubled. So 5 to 8. So 1 to 2 odds that the Confederacy is going to be, or the Union's attacking at 1 to 2. We roll a 4. 1 to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Attacker back 2, okay? 1, 2, and 1, 2. I'll just move them straight back. And then the Union units can start to move in. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. I'll move these guys up first. The heavier one with the leader. Okay, there's the Union turn. Confederacy is going to move 1, 2. And we will attack on the hill. 1, 2, wait, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, and we will move our hill along there. And Confederates get to move. Now this is 4 to 2 because they're fighting hill to hill, so he's on that little lump of land. 4 to 2 is 2 to 1 odds. And we roll a 6. 2 to 1. Attacker eliminated. Okay, that's it for Heath. So we send him to the graveyard. And we go to turn 3. 8 a.m. on the 1st. No Union units are coming in till 2. But at 8 at Carlisle Road. Now where's Carlisle? It's up here. This is those units coming in from the north. Okay. And nobody's coming in from the Union. Okay. I'm going to come over here and just rotate around. And then 1, 2, these are kind of hard to see. 3, I guess we'll stay here. We'll stay on the hill. Again, the design problem here is you kind of have to figure out on this hex. Let's just zoom in on it a little bit. Anyway, on a hex like this, are you on the hill or not? And this is where some problems with the design were. I think the map is really kind of cool. I love that retro color with the slime green and the blue and the white. I think that's really neat. And I like the little hills and everything. I think they've done a pretty good job, although like Round Top is a mess down here. But other than that, I think the thing is actually got a really cool map. The map's probably my favorite thing about this game. Okay, enough yakking. Confederacy can move into place. These got an artillery unit for 4, but I think I'm going to go ahead and 1, 2. I'm going to take advantage of holding that artillery back. And then 1, 2. Okay. I didn't move these guys. Okay, 1, 2. We'll move them. Go ahead, out of turn, move. It is kind of crucial that they get into place to make the game run fairly well. So, okay, that is the end of that turn. Let's go to turn 9 a.m. And 1, 2. We're going to come in on 2. We got this guy following up. 1, 2. The other thing is I wish the artillery could have like a range that they could fire. The artillery really doesn't. The only thing artillery has is they can hide behind these other units, but they can't do a whole lot else. That's it. Okay. Oh, I didn't move my Union guys. Okay, I'm out of turn again. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, my Union guys have moved. Now my Confederate guys, these guys have moved. These guys were staying still. 1, 2. Okay, the end of turn. Turns go really fast in this. Okay, it's 10 a.m. Union will move 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 1, 2. Those guys are staying put. Toggle moved. Yeah, the only chance these guys have of holding it is staying on that hill. Okay, now Confederates can move. 1, 2, 1. And they will attack, and then they'll go 1, 2. And I'm going to assume you have to spread your attacks out a little bit. So, actually, let's... Okay, they're attacking on a hill. So this guy gets 2. They are attacking on an enfilade. So this is 4, 5, 6, but this is doubled. So that's 12 to 2, 6 to 1 odds. We check our CRT. If we roll anything but a 2, which watch we roll a 2. Now we rolled a 6. Okay. Been playing a lot of online games, and some of them just really feel like they always roll just what you don't want them to. Okay, I'm going to rotate this guy here and here. He can move into place, okay, which he does. And that is the end of turn. Okay. I sure do say okay a lot. Okay, 11 o'clock. Toggle move. Okay, Union moves. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's a Union move. Oh, okay, and this guy has to fight. Now he does double since he's fighting downhill. And he can rotate him around here. So this is 2 to 6. 2 to 6 odds. Okay. So 1 to 4 odds. That's not going to be good. And we rolled a 2. 1 to 4 at 2 is an attacker limited. Yeah. Send to graveyard. And yeah, he'll take advantage. Any chance I can get to move, I will move. Okay, Confederates get to go. 1, 2. Actually, we'll go 1, 2. We'll stay here. 1, 2. We're moving on to the hilltop on McPherson Ridge. Nope, we're going to go 1, 2. And we'll rotate ourselves. Okay, that's it for the turn. Okay, noon o'clock, Baltimore Pike. Some Union reinforcements on Baltimore Pike. It's right down here. Excuse me. And then the other Union reinforcements are on down on Emmitsburg Road. Confederacy, do they have anybody coming in? Yeah, Chambersburg Pike. And Early's units come in on Harrisburg Road. So he's up here. Oh, we get a headquarters coming in on Pittsburgh. Here comes Bobby Lee. Okay, and then Early was on Harrisburg Road. Here you are. I remember reading a review, I think it was on one of the board game sites, that was critical of one of these Gettysburg games because the guy said, well, the South came in from the north side, and that wasn't historically accurate. Which I thought that was kind of funny. It would be interesting to see which battles the South came into the battle from the north and the north came in from the south when they were reversed. I think Pea Ridge, I think the Confederacy was on the north side there, if I remember right. Okay, we got the Union. Union's up. 1, 2, we'll stay on the ridge. 1, 2, 2. Spread out a little bit. Try to form a line. 2, and then 1, 2. Down here, 1, 2. Everybody's gone. Okay, then Confederate units can come in. 1, 2. We can move Lee. It doesn't really matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's move him down here. He's on Seminary Ridge. How much strength? He's got 2. He could fight at 6 to 3. 2 to 1 odds. I'll fight here. And we're going to pop around here and rotate. Is he still on the hill? I guess so. Okay, we've got those two. Everybody's moved. Now we can make our attacks. So first of all, a Confederate attack here. We've got 2 and 6. They're enfilading, so that's 12. And then that's hill to hill, so that doubles the defense. So that's 12 to 6. That 3 becomes a 6. So 2-to-1 odds. We rolled a 3. 1, 2, 3. Defender back 2. Okay. And I will take that. And then we've got enfilade. That's doubled. So that's 2. That's 4. And he's fighting down the hill. That doubles it again. So that's 8 to 3. So again, 2-to-1 odds. 2-to-1 with a 3. 1, 2, 3. Defender back 2. Okay. This guy will have to go here since he has to stay out of zones of control. And I'll say he moves here. We will rotate him. And we'll rotate this guy. Okay, that is the end of turn. It's 1 p.m. No Union comes until 6, but Chambersburg Pike, we have these Confederate Union units coming in. Okay, Union goes 1, 2. We will rotate him. He can go here. He can go 1, 2 here. And then he'll go here and rotate. He'll go 1, 2. 1, 2, and okay, that's everybody moved. Basically, the battle shifted to the west quite a bit. We'll start over here. Let's go with we have 3. We're fighting up a hill, so this 2 becomes a we're fighting from a enfilade, full enfilade there. So this is a 3, so that changes to a 9. Okay, and then this, he's doubled because he's on a hill, so 9 to 4, so it's 2-to-1 odds. We roll 2 at 2-to-1 is an exchange. So we'll just send him to the graveyard, and we'll send him to the graveyard. Exchanges don't make a lot of sense in this game. Okay. We're fighting hill to hill, so this guy is doubled. So he's 6. The Confederates are 6, so that's 12. And then 3 that's doubled, so that's 6. 12, 13, 14, 15 to 12. Okay, 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 odds. We roll a 3 at 1-to-1. Defender back 2. Now, technically, the artillery doesn't have to take those. Now, they say it doesn't have to take it, but I'm not sure that it's mandatory. I am going to move those guys back, and then these guys are going to move forward because, well, that guy's forward because they're filling in the gap. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay down here because I don't want to that's going to be pretty easy to sneak around on me. Or do I? I'll stay put. Okay. Confederate units move. 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, and there. He can move there, and then this guy goes 1, 2, and we'll move him here. We'll move this guy here. Okay, we go into the next round, and that's going to be 4 o'clock. The Union gets to go. Let's move these guys first. 1, 2, so I don't forget them. 2 and 1, 2. I think what I want to do, I could go here. Let's try it again. Let's just move up. And see what we can do. Okay, rotate this guy. So we got 2 guys on him, 2 guys on him. And anybody else coming in? No. Did I forget somebody? No, I guess I didn't. Okay. So they are fighting. Boy, it's hard to see what's going on around here. This looks like kind of like a dog hair or something. I am going to say they are fighting. I'm going to say they're fighting downhill. So they get the advantage of 6. And he's got, oh gosh, I can't really tell. Looking at this, what we're going to do here. I'm going to say he's fighting. I'm going to say they're down in this little valley. So these guys have 6, and then we double it again for 12 because they're fighting in an enfilade. And then these guys have 6. So that's 18 to 4. 4 to 1 odds. We roll a 1 at 4 to 1. That's a defender eliminated. Okay. So send to graveyard, and we send to graveyard. However, because of the rules with the artillery, they can stay put. Okay, now here's another enfilade, but it's neutralized by fighting hill to hill. So we'll say that's going to be, he fights at 8. He fights at 6. 6 to 8. 7, 8, 9 to 8. It's going to be 1 to 1 odds. We roll a 3 at 1 to 1, and that's a defender back 2. Yeah, I think I'm going to move in here. And we're going to do that. So because he's going to have to fight uphill. We're forcing him to fight uphill. Okay, that's the end of the Union fight. Now then, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. And that, he's going to have to fight on his own. He's fighting at 2 to 6. Technically this guy's an enfilade, but I don't know. This is a mess. Honestly, this is not one of the best games I've ever played. In fact, it's probably one of the worst. Okay, I'm going to use this guy to fight this guy and this guy to fight these 2. So he has 2, and then this is going to be 6, 12. 2 to 12. 1 to 6 odds. And we roll a 6, and the attacker's eliminated. So doesn't really matter. Also, you can't see the graveyard in this. I don't know why the Vassal developer didn't do that. And then this is going to be 4 to 6 odds. 1 to 2. And we roll a 5. 1 to 2 at 5 is attacker eliminated. So pretty much that's it for them. I could move in, but I'll just stay put there. I'll move this guy forward. He can move in when they eliminated the attacks. Okay, that is it for the Confederate turn. We move to the next Union turn. It is 5 p.m. Confederates move in some guys on Chambersburg Pike. And we're going to roll these guys around. Okay, the Union. I guess what I'm going to do is set up 1, 2. Okay, he can move here. 1, 2. He can move here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Rotate, rotate, rotate. 1, 2. Did I get everybody? Everybody's done got. Okay, there's he's fighting hill to hill, so this guy's an 8. No, he's fighting downhill. I'll say hill to hill. So this guy fights at an 8. He's got a infilade, so he's at a 6 to 8, and then he's at a 9 and 6, a 15 to 8. So still 1-to-1 odds. 1-to-1 4. Attacker back 2. Okay. And I'm not going to move in. I'm going to try to form a little bit of a line here if I can. I am still looking for a great Civil War game. I've been playing the easy ones too much. I need to move my game up a little bit. I think I could find some better games out there. I think the Last Man Standing series looks really interesting. So I talked to the guy that developed it. He was real nice, and they're a public domain game that is being put out, kind of a medium complexity. Looks pretty good. So, okay, the Confederates get to go. Rotate, rotate, rotate. I think it's going to be the best odds I've got. 1, 2, and I'm going to move him in here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. He's on a hill, so he's got a 6. He's got a enfilade, so he's got an 8, 10, or 4, 6, 12. 12 to 6 at 2-to-1 odds. We roll a 6 at 2-to-1. Attacker eliminated. Okay, that sends him to the graveyard, but because he's artillery, he's okay. And then I've got a 4 to 6 odds, 1 to 2. 2, 1 to 2, 2. Exchange. Send to graveyard. Send to graveyard. Send to graveyard. Send to graveyard. Oh my. Okay, next turn. 6 p.m. Tannytown Road. Coming in on Tannytown Road. It's down here. And then the others are on Emmitsburg. And they're coming in on Emmitsburg Road. Here. Do I have any Confederates coming in? 3 p.m. Ah, I forgot these guys. Okay. These guys were supposed to show up at 3. Where'd they come in at? Carlisle Road. It's up here north, I think. Carlisle Road is here. So it's now... Let's see if I can get these guys in the right spot. I'm 3 hours behind. So I'm going to let them move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. That would put them in the right spot. Sorry. Johnson didn't make it in. Okay. Now then. Well, I can move here. I can move here. I can move here, and I can move here. Then I can move these guys. The Union is pretty much making short work of the Confederacy here. Okay, and then 2. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2. And we move some leadership. All those leadership is getting in the way. Okay, I've moved all those extraneous. I think we're ready to do some attacks. So 3, this is hill to hill, so he's got a 4. The defender has a 4, and then the 3 is an enfilade, so that's a 6 to 4, 6, 7, 8 to 4. 8 to 4, 2-to-1 odds. I roll a 6, 2-to-1 at 6. Attacker eliminated. Okay. And then this is up a hill, so we've got a 4. This guy's got a 6 because he's fighting an enfilade. 6-4, 9-4, 2-1 odds with a 6. Oh, God. So pretty much the Union just wiped itself out. That's pretty incredible. This is quite a simulation, let me tell you. This is quite a game. And God bless Charles Roberts. I mean, the guy was the pioneer guy in developing these games, but this one was not a good one. The best thing about this is that after this video, I'll never have to play it again. It is a story, I guess, for historical things. And yeah, you could say you could take it into the context of the time, but I think even at the context of the time, there's a lot of problems with this. I mean, you could get to the point you could pretty much leave your cavalry. I guess to win this game, you could leave your cavalry back and then just have the Union chase you around the map until you got tired of playing. But that's... okay. What did I just do? I'm losing my mind here. Okay. Save these guys. Go back. I just took 2 Union turns in a row because I got to yakking. Confederacy do have a chance to go. 2, 4. Actually, this guy can go 4. So he'll at least get these guys put together with their other dudes. And charts, TRC, 7 p.m. Tandytown Road. Union is here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to move those guys. Well, shoot. I'm losing it. I was so discombobulated by that massive Union loss that... Okay, there we go. Now we're on the Union, and then the Confederacy. They don't have anybody till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, so... Now the Union can go. 1, 2, 1, 2... 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Try to get those guys. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a Union unit up here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what happened with Longstreet and Little Round Top and all that Southern battle. I don't think it's going to happen in this. I've never actually had that happen with this game. It's usually all taken place. A lot of the time it ends up on Cemetery Hill, Seminary Ridge, and Culp's Hill in this area, and they get bogged down until nobody's left. Okay, now the Confederacy goes. I'm yakking. 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. I suppose there is some strategy to this. I don't really want to spend time trying to learn it. Okay, there we go. 4, 6, that's 12 to 2. Ah! Those guys were not supposed to be together, so I'll just put them there. And 6-1 odds. 2. 6-1, 2. Defender back 2, yep. Never can you have 6-1 odds without... Yeah, we'll stay put. Okay. Okay, that's the end of the turn. And we go to July 2nd. So Union can move. 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll move him here. We've got another cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move him here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2. We'll try to enfilade there. We're fighting in town, but hey, terrain doesn't matter in this, so This could be a field. It could be the town. This should not be incurring. Okay, so they have a 4, 6, and then this 3 is a 6, and then this 2 is also a 6. So it's 6 here and 6 and 6. So it's 2-to-1 odds. We roll a 4 at 2-to-1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Attacker back 2. 1, 2. He's over on Culp's Hill. And into that. Okay. And then the Confederacy can move. We'll come over here. Attack on from Culp's Hill down. This guy will go 1, 2. Any more Confederate units? We've only got 2 Confederate units, and I think I'll call this if they eliminate all the Confederate units from the board, even though there's reinforcements coming in, I think the game will be over. Although you never know with this game, it's this crazy game. It could be okay. So he's got an enfilade. He's 4, 6. And then he's fighting downhill, so that makes him 12. And he's enfilade, so that makes him 24-3. 6-to-1 odds. Now watch me roll a 2. 3. Nope. Okay. Send to the graveyard. Okay. Into turn. We go to 7 a.m. on the 2nd. Fighting a full enfilade there. Fighting a full enfilade there. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't make it. 1, 2. 1, 2. We'll move that guy there to that guy there. Now we finally got the artillery moved into shape. Again, this is crazy that the artillery can move quite so easily. I guess they're limbered, but that still seems a little crazy. But okay, hill to hill. So this guy has got 2 and 4, and it's hill to hill, so he's 8. And then he's got a 9 to 8. Okay. 2. 1 to 1, 2. Exchange. I think I had that guy overstacked. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Okay, this is going to be a 6 to 4, 5, 6, but they're doubled, so that's 6 to 12 odds. So 1 to 2 odds. We roll a 5 at 1 to 2, and it's attacker eliminated. Okay. Confederacy gets to go. Is there anybody coming in? Nope, not till 9 o'clock. And we're just going to stay put here. And we'll go 1, 2. We'll stay up here on McPherson Ridge. I guess he'll stay here. And that is the end of the Confederate turn. It's now 8 o'clock. Union goes 1, 2. Okay. Confederacy gets to go. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3. Can't. Okay, can move in there. That would be an enfilade, but I'm still fighting uphill, so that's just gonna be 1 to 1 odds. Not gonna help me out much. These guys are gonna have to stay put. I think that's all they can really do is just stay put. We go to 9 o'clock. Unit. Let's see. Baltimore Pike. It doesn't tell me when these guys came in from Baltimore Pike. I guess they came in at 7 p.m. last night. Baltimore Pike here. I'll just put them like right along here. Again, they came in at the wrong time, but that's okay. Hey, with this game, it just doesn't matter. There we go. They came in, how about 9 a.m. Confederates? We have 10 a.m. Okay, we got another couple hours. So we're going to go 2. Two. And then 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll swing around, and then we'll go 1, 2. Wait. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. I don't know why, say with Tactics 2, the squares work fine, but on this one, the squares are kind of problematic. I think, again, with Tactics 2, the terrain, there's terrain effects. You can really see why you need terrain effects in a game. I think one reason to play this game is just to get an idea of why we do certain things in war games and get kind of an idea of what's good and what's not so good. And I think this is a big learning experience with this. Okay, so 2, and he's got 4 since he's fighting up a hill. And then we've got a 2 times 3 is a 6 to 4. And then this is direct, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 4. So 2 to 1 odds. We roll a 3. 2 to 1 at 3. 1, 2, 3. Defender back 2. We will push there. Okay, here we've got an enfilade. So this, first of all, this 4, 6, defending up a hill. So that's a 12. And then this is a 10, since it's an enfilade, 10 to 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to 12. 1 to 1 odds. And we roll a 1. Defender eliminated. Okay, that looks bad for the Confederacy. They're down to a single unit here. Can't really pull out. All I got to do is fight. So 2 to 10. 1 to 5 odds. This should be it for that unit. Is a 1. 1 to 5 at 1. Attacker eliminated. And that is sent to the graveyard. And that clears the board. Let's see if there's anybody here. That clears the board of the Confederacy. Now, I could go ahead and keep bringing in piecemeal units, but by this time I think the Union has outnumbers them so much. Let me just see how many units are left here. I think we'll call the game at this point. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. There's some cavalry that can come in. Hell, let's bring them in and see what happens. We're playing, so if you can stick with me, then Chalmersburg Road. Okay. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Okay. And any more unit? 10 a.m., 9 a.m., July 2nd. We need to bring this guy in. TRC. And these guys came in. Where'd they come in at? Hanover or Baltimore? Let's make them on Baltimore Pike. We'll just have them come in over here. Actually, let's come over. Yeah, that's fine. And so noon, and then 8 a.m., and then let's see, any more Confederates will come in at noon. Okay. And like I say, actually the Confederates could win this by just running around the road. I mean, using faster units to, like cavalry units, to just run around and not get caught. I suppose you could fight. You could try to get them with these artillery units, but the infantry is never going to catch up with them. Okay, let's just 1, 2. Oh, okay, that's okay. I moved those guys. Let's move my TRC to 10 o'clock. Union gets to move. And then I say the Confederate moved. Okay, so the Union moved and the Confederacy moved, so now they've moved, both have moved the turn. Now we go to our chart, we go to 11 a.m. Confederate units move 2, and okay. Oh, the Union should have moved first. Rotate. Rotate, 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 rotate. So I'm going to say the Union moved. They set up on the ridge here. Then the Confederacy moved and made a frontal attack. And 1, 2. Oh, okay, the Union has some cavalry coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess you could turn this into a cavalry battle. Nothing says you can't. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Custer comes in. Okay, Union moves. Confederacy moves. Confederacy attacks, and we have a 6 to 10. 1 to 2. Roll a 6. 1 to 2 at 6. 1 to 2 at 6. Attacker eliminated. And we can send him to the graveyard. Now this guy's still around. You know, I think I had an artillery down there with that one. Oh well. He should have been... That Confederate unit should have maybe stayed for another round before it got wiped out, but okay, so Confederates now then, we're back to the next turn. We're kind of falling out of turn here. At noon, it's noon on the 2nd. Okay, who comes in? Baltimore Pike units for the Union. Okay, and then Confederates, do they have any units coming in? They do. Carlisle Road. Okay, it's up north. And Confederates come in. Okay, now it's Union turn. We're going to attack here. And we are going to go here. I can move around to get into that position. And then we'll come back behind him. 2, 1, 2. Two, 3, 4. Move these reinforcements up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And kind of fan them out. And then these reinforcements get to come in. 2. I mean, at least it seems like on this one, you could do something with the roads. I mean, I still tend to travel on the roads, just out of habit, but it doesn't really work. Okay, there are 2, so this is now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess he's here. 11 to... Oh, he's not here. Okay, he was in this hex or square. Okay. Okay, so we've got 2. He's doing a full enfilade for 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But he's fighting downhill, so that's 10, and 6 is 16 to 2. Okay, watch me roll a 2. I rolled a 4. Okay, eliminates this guy. And we move into place. That's going to lock this guy here into place. And that is the Union move. Okay, Confederates get to move. They're going to bring in their... Now, I did play this one time, and I did have all these Confederate cavalry. They messed up the Union. I think it got down to 1 unit at the end. I didn't want to get rid of them. It turned into a 1-unit fight. It was crazy. Okay. Let's let the Confederacy come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4. Nothing like Stuart showing up a day short and $1 late. Okay, that's it. Now he has to fight, and it's a 2 against a 5, so it's 1 to 3 odds. We roll a 2 at 1 to 3. 1, 2. Attacker back 2. 1, 2. Well, I'll take that. Okay, and that's it for the Confederate turn. 1 p.m. Union gets to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then he's going to shift. No, he's not. He's going to do an enfilade here. Rotate. There's a lot of old Kriegspiel kind of feel to this, like the old Prussian Kriegspiel game. Feels like we should still be using sticks. Okay, those guys are fighting here, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Rotate these guys around a little bit. Okay, these guys, 1, 2. Shift those guys over. And that's all the Union moving. Let's see here. We've got a 2. That's a 6. And then this 5 is a 10. So it's 16 to 2. Easy 6 to 1. And anything but a 2. It's a 2. Defender back 2. Okay, and over here we've got 2 to 1 odds. We roll a 3 at 2 to 1. Exchange. We can take that. Okay. Confederates get to go. 1, 2, 4. We'll try that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, can't go in that one. How about, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll go right here. Any more? Okay. So he's got, I guess there's a hill in the way here. Well, I'll say he's fighting downhill. He's on this little nub. So he's fighting downhill, or hill to hill. We'll say hill to hill.
So this is a 6, and then he's got a 3, I guess. 3 to 6, 1 to 2. Three, 1 to 2 at 3 is an attacker back 2. 1, 2. Okay, over here he's at a 6 to 5, 1 to 1. Rolls a 2, 1 to 1 at 2 is an exchange. And sends him to the graveyard, but he's got an artillery, so the artillery survives it. Here we've got a 1 and 3 is a 4 to 2, 2 to 1 odds. 1, 2 to 1, 1. Defender eliminated. Okay. And that's what this, if Stuart's cavalry would have come in earlier, they probably could have changed the day a little bit. Okay, end of turn. We go to turn 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., Confederates have Chambersburg Pike. Okay, there they are. Okay. Union troops can go. We'll do this. We'll do this. And okay, this. He can move on the flank there. Yeah, all those leadership things do is get in the way. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got a rear attack, and I don't know. Rear attacks that say are in this game are just doubled. They're not tripled. It's that only that side flank attack that does it. That enfilade. Okay, 1, 2. We're just going to move these guys. 1, 2. We can rotate these guys around here. They're not in any danger. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's got that. Okay. Wait. 4. We're going to move in from either side. And these cav units, there's 1, 2, 3, and then these are 6, 12. 12 to 3, 4 to 1 odds. We roll a 4. 4 to 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Defender back 2. They can't really move. They're in a zone of control. They got to move out of the zone of control, so they can't move out of the zone of control. They can only move off the map. So they're off. This guy has a 3, 6, 9. That's 6 to 1 odds. We roll a 5, so he's eliminated. And then 2, 3. Okay, there's 3 to 1. 4, 5 to 1. It's a 6 to 1 again. We roll a 1, and that eliminates him. And then that leaves this guy up here. And so basically this guy could sit and be chased around. Oh, he's gone. I'm going to call the game here because basically the only thing left is leaving Lee here to be chased around the map by units. I think that's about all that's going to happen. It's pretty much over but the crying. I don't think he might be able to take a unit down with him, but that's about all he's going to be able to do before he gets wiped out. Anyway, that's Gettysburg. This, like I say, is kind of a pioneer game. Play it to learn about why we do what we do with gaming, but don't play it just to see if you're going to enjoy it, because I don't think it's that great a game. And, I mean, again, you can argue that it's a product of its time, and there was not much else out there like it. But, again, comparing it to something like Tactics or Tactics 2, it's still got a lot of shortcomings. But, anyway, it's an interesting game to play, and I'm still going to give thumbs up to the board. So that's all I got this week. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be starting in on American Revolution since July's here. and be running a few games. I'll probably be on it for a little while, so hopefully you're going to like that. Then we'll get some World War II gaming, and I know you guys like World War II gaming. So that's all I got. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.